Welcome back, folks. In studio with us, Renzel Botman, Adrian Parvater, and of course Mitchell Carstens. Mitchell, where did you start your rugby career? How long have you been playing rugby?
I've been playing since I can remember, and most of my club rugby. But before that, started at Porus.
Yeah.
And then I went on to Province under 19 and 21, and then graduated to Marties.
Yeah.
And then from Marties, I'm at Villages.
And position-wise?
Position-wise, mostly is 6.
Yeah.
6, open side flanker, but recent days moved more to 7, 8.
Even when you were a kid, did you play flank when you were a kid?
Yes, I had a stint at wing, but I was short-lived.
And Adrian, have you always been a prop?
Eighth man. I played eighth. Well, I started off at wing, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Then I moved to
when you were younger?
Yeah, when I was younger.
Yeah. How old were you in your first game? Like,
first
can you remember?
Game, I was
it was
7.
like, oh, really?
I played under 11,
Yeah.
Because I was at a Catholic school, so my school never had rugby, so I played at Castleflat Primary.
Yeah.
And then I played under 11.
That didn't rub off on you really, though, eh?
Then I played a bit of 12
Yeah.
center, and then that's why my handling skills is a bit better than the normal loose forward.
When did you know then that you would shift to that position? I mean, a lot of guys shift because as they get a little bit older, they start changing, their body starts changing, maybe get a bit bigger, they start finding their groove.
I think
Or
it was a bit of that. I when I was a bit younger, I had a bit of big bums growing up. Big bums, and I got a bit of a tummy, and then I moved to hooker prop.
Yeah.
And then from hooker prop, I couldn't handle that in front of us. Like
working.
I'm going to 8-man flank. So I play most of the times 8, but I played flank as well.
What would you say then is that big difference between being a hooker or being an 8-man?
I think pressure up front, it's tough. I
Do you
have
mean
respect.
physical pressure or stress?
Physical pressure.
Physical
It's tough. It's tough up front. If you look at the amount of weight that's on your neck as a hooker, it's tough. I don't know how people do it though, but I have respect for hookers and prop.
Yeah, I used to be a hooker back in my day. Yeah. It was a very long back day. Mitchell, let's go to you. 7 and 8. Yes. For you, the difference between the two. I mean, there was a time that the not 7 and 8, 6 and 7.
Yes.
There was a time back in the day that it didn't make a difference really. They just you played flank, and it was whether you liked your left shoulder or your right shoulder, and you played. Yeah. But today, you guys are playing in these specialist positions.
Yes.
Depending on the side of the field, the side of the scrum. How did that jump for you? When did you, or do you still change?
I do still change.
Yeah.
Depends on games. If I say, for instance, I need to play more of a fetching role, I'll play 6. Some games, if I need to carry more, I'll play 7. But it's usually a healthy mix between the two. I mean, if you see the opportunity, you take the ball. But otherwise, everybody loves to run with the ball.
Do you do that, Renz, when you guys are coaching? Do you shift players in the game, or do you try and keep the guys in the same place?
First things first, Jeps. As a coach, you have to know player profiling. You need to know what the specific skills are. What's their pros, what's their cons, and then you look at players that can play multiple positions. And then you'll take it from there. But obviously, for us as coaches, you would love to have players that can play multiple positions. Then you can play 8-1 in a game on a Saturday. So you have 8 forwards that can play wing and center and stuff. But
what would an 8-1 be? I know that we see this
quite
often now in rugby. We see a 3-4 and a 5-6 and a 7-2 and this.
So depending on how much forwards you have and how much backs you have. So if you play like you have 8-4, say 8 replacements, so you'll play a 7-1. So which means you have 7 forwards with 1 backline player. So if your wing gets injured, you might as well send AD up to play wing.
I don't know if we're going to see that anytime soon. From a strategic, Adrian, from a strategic point of view, with regards to, one of the things that we've realized in club rugby for years now, in fact, or at least maybe some of the clubs only realized it late, was that you really needed depth in your second team if you wanted to have a successful first team. And that seems to have, for the top teams, become a priority, is making sure that they were able to carry their players through the season and take some pressure off some players at strategic times. Do you guys, obviously we know Ishmael Dolly is an absolute genius at this type of strategy, but do you agree with that?
100%. I also think that you need to have a good junior base, not junior, but like under 20 base, so that you can groom some of that guys to play seniors, and eventually they will play first team. Because if you look at varsities, most of the guys are 19, 20 years old playing first team, and the sooner you get that experience at that level, the better for you to grow as a player.
So, Mitchell, is it not enough that you guys have buys? Because you don't play every week. You play quite often buys, depending on how the fixtures are scheduled. Yeah. You might play now and then 3 games in a row, but then you might be off for 3 weeks. Yeah. Is it not enough, the buys, and not enough to say, well, these are my 22 players there, that's it?
Well, the club rugby season is long, and it's physical. SRA is very, very physical, and I think the bye games are super important, especially when you come into the later end of this spectrum, where you play a Martis, where you have to play a Wednesday and a Saturday, and then a Wednesday and a Saturday again. So then those come in pretty handy because injuries happen quickly.
Does that, I mean, how do you guys do that from a recovery point of view, from a Wednesday to a Saturday? I mean, this whole university thing does throw the bus upside down a little bit every now and then. But we saw that. We saw that quite a few times. Both sides, the university sides and the, call it the open clubs, play on a Wednesday, which means you're basically finishing at about 11 o'clock at night.
Yes.
And back to work if you're an employed somewhere. Yeah. And then, you know, maybe the guys don't even play or come back to the club on the Thursday because it's game day, literally 48 hours later.
Yeah, no, it's intense. It's wild. I mean, it's not something you want, but yeah.
Are you able to work, for those of you, Adrian, you're a teacher. I mean, if you're playing a game on a Wednesday night and you're getting home at 1 o'clock in the morning, because we know that you guys, from a leader's point of view, you're also waiting for the other players to make sure they get home safely. You make checking that the guys have all got transport. It's not just finish the game and you get in your car and you go. Yeah. There's always a bit of wrap-up involved. Yeah. But it must be a little bit tough then coming to work the next morning.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, I did it as a student, playing on a Wednesday night, which was was fun because you only have class like at 8:30. Sometimes you even have a 2 o'clock class the next day. Yes. But obviously now working class, you start at meeting is about at like 25 to 8, and then your first class starts like 10 past 8. So it is tough. It is tough, but you learn to control it.
Yeah. Do you guys give what do you guys do, Renz? Do you guys give the guys off for the Thursday, or do you come back and just have a little bit of a video session or something?
Yeah, look, if we play on a Wednesday night, the best option is just to play or to come in on a video session, because you already have your game situation on a Wednesday night. So, you know, get the guys recovered, let them rest. On a Thursday, you just do a flash out of the previous game. Go sit in a video session, talk about what's coming up on the Saturday, and just get enough rest for the guys. But just coming on the point what you asked earlier, where you said like how important is it to have enough players, and I think you talked about it. It's a long season, so if you have to have 30 or 40 players in your squad, it's about player management. You can't get into, and especially the top teams, they play first and second team train together, because that's you can only be as good as, or your second team or your first team can only be as good as your second team.
Yes.
All right, folks. Well, we are in studio with Renzel Botman, Adrian Parvat, and Mitchell Carstens. We're talking about what the season looked like. We're going to come back after the break, and don't forget, you can win yourself a case of Score Energy drinks. All right, we'll do our Spot the Team competition yet again, and you can do that, of course, on our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV. Enter our score energy drinks competition, and look out for our discussion points on a cyber smart internet service provider. Back in a sec, don't go away.